What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Movie Emporium's movie review of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the sequel to the massive hit that is once again directed by Jeff Fowler. And now, before we begin, if you like this video, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming in next. If you like this video, awesome, hit that like button as well as comment below on any video that you watch, including this one. So Sonic is of course back in a highly anticipated sequel of the original that did very well a couple years ago. It sees Sonic teaming up with Tails, and Tails, of course, if you remember from the video games, is a fox looking creature with two tails. Of course, Sonic and Tails was a very popular video game, and in essence they are on a quest to stop, of course, Robotnik, who has now come back. Of course, Jim Carrey's now buff and he has a mustache and he's very much more sinister, from getting this thing called the Master Emerald. Well, he can't do it alone, so we have to have another famous character from the video games come in, and that of course is Knuckles, who is a Kidna warrior. He's very strong, has very fast abilities, and of course he's voiced by Idris Elba. And so this movie, in its essence, if you've seen the trailer, is a Indiana Jones style family film that basically sees these individuals trying to do everything in their power, whether it be Sonic protecting this thing called the Master Emerald, or of course Robotnik trying to get the Master Emerald, and it becomes that type of adventure. And on top of everything, you have of course James Marsden and his girlfriend, and then there's a marriage situation going on as well. So you would probably be lying to yourself if you thought that the original Sonic movie was going to be any good. I mean, I went into it very despondent. I thought this movie was going to be terrible. The trailers were terrible, and then you had that marketing problem where Sonic looked terrible, and then they had to reconfigure him into the Sonic we know now. But something happened where the film actually ended up being a lot better than I was expecting. It's not a perfect film. The human aspects are just a little wonky, but it was a film that actually relied pretty well on the video game stuff, where it involved Robotnik, who's he's very smart, he's a scientist, and then Sonic, who is very much a young character, very much a fun, very lighthearted individual who had to protect Green Hill, which of course is a stage level in the game. And I was shocked at how much I enjoyed the film. I was shocked that it was a movie that actually worked and became one of the actually better video game movies ever created in the sense of video game franchises of all time. So it was enough to be said that the sequel was pretty highly anticipated, because that first one did really well. It was very beloved, and even myself going into it, I was really excited by what the trailers were presenting. We're getting Knuckles, we're getting Tails, of course Jim Carrey is coming back as Robotnik, which was a huge surprise in the original film, and it felt like it was going to be a great adventure film with great character moments and great action, and just overall just a good Sonic adventure. So to be fair to say, I was really looking forward to this film. It wasn't in my top anticipated list of the year, but I was really looking forward to seeing what this movie could present. And then on top of that, Jeff Fowler just kind of came out of nowhere as the director of these films, actually presenting some interesting products. So after watching this movie, my anticipation level probably was a little too high for this movie, to be fairly honest. And I think it's because of the low effect of the original to coming into this film, because I feel this movie has a lot of problems. It's an entertaining, fun family film. It doesn't have anything really dangerous or dark or disturbing. It's a film that borrows heavily from a lot of different, genres and films and stuff like that. It has, characters that are very beloved from the video games, but the movie itself is kind of a mess, to be fairly honest. It's kind of all over the place. It has so many different moments that are spread all over so many different areas of this film that it almost becomes inconsistent with its overall storytelling effect. And I know this is a Sonic movie, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of crap for this, but I found this movie to be a huge disappointment over the original film. Like I said, I really enjoyed that film, and that's just such a shame, because you bring in Knuckles, you bring in Tails, and you have Sonic, who's already established, and those characters should play really well, and they actually do play pretty decently in this film. But the problem is that they just don't get they get enough to do, but they don't get a lot to do. They feel like you've seen everything in the trailer, so now that you've seen everything in this movie, and it's fun for what it's worth, but it feels so stagnant. It feels like they didn't try to do anything different. It brings in, Jim Carrey as a much more buffer, much more zanier version of Robotnik or Eggman, or however you want to look at it. But I just never felt that this movie really clicked very well. And then the major problem with this movie that is seen in stuff like Transformers is the humanistic aspect to it. The humans themselves, they're so wasted in this movie. They're not needed in this movie. It feels like they needed to throw in there something in there to have like the human, like realistic type of approach, even like anthropomorphic characters and stuff like that. But there's a whole segment of this movie that feels ripped out of a romantic comedy film, out of a situational comedy film, and it just isn't needed. It actually makes the movie much longer than it needs to be. This movie could have been trimmed down by like 25 minutes, and it actually kind of worked. But here, it feels like they're adding in stuff just to add in stuff to make this movie much more. It's much more fluffed out, or it's much more, you know, stuff that just didn't need to be in this film, to be fairly honest. You know, I don't mind James Marsden or Tika Sumpter in this movie. They're fine. They're not that much in this movie, but it's the sister that gets all this big plot with her marriage and stuff like that. And if you had a little bit of that, that's fine, but it's so expanded upon that it actually takes away from the enjoyment of the movie, to be fairly honest. But the things that are negative, you know, that I talk about, it's stuff that still makes people laugh, which I guess is fine. It just, to me personally, it doesn't represent what made that first film really work very well. But like I said, in the end, the characters are fun. I think, you know, Jim Carrey, who's apparently retiring, is having fun. You know, the voice work is really good. The animation is really good. The action sequences, though they are very samey in a lot of, you know, other types of films, are fun for what they're worth. But it's a movie, it just has too much going on. It has too much focus on one area than another. You know, for instance, like all the characters you go to watch have, you know, they disappear for like 10 to 15 minutes sometimes, or maybe 10 minutes. And that's not what I want out of a movie like this. You know, I don't want to go to like a Transformers movie to see jokes about poop and farting and stuff like that. It's just not what my cup of tea is. I just want to see Sonic and Knuckles and Robotnik and Tails go on an adventure, and sometimes you throw in James Marsden to just kind of be there in the background because there is an interesting story with them. But in the end, it's still an entertaining movie. It has fun moments, but there are stuff in here that just doesn't work and completely kind of ruins the movie a little bit. So, but with that said, that'll be my take on Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Thank you so much for watching. Comments below, are you excited to see this film? I'm pretty sure you are. Is there something that you're really looking forward to? If you've seen this movie, let me know what you thought of the movie overall. But with that said, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.